for this, I'm going to talk about, previously I talked about structures and plans. And it's important to have those. But also, sometimes staying in those plans and structures can be a detriment. So you need to learn when to let things go. If you don't let things go and try something different, it could put you in a worse situation. And sometimes you're in a situation where you have no choice but to let it go. And you gotta do whatever you have to do to try to keep yourself going and basically move towards stabilizing rather than move towards your goal. Perfect example, I had a good supervisor job in California in manufacturing, and I was living with my wife, and we were pretty much good. But then there's an offer in Maryland for a government job that paid significantly more. So I was like, no brainer, let's do it. And we get to have our own spot, build this new life together. Let's do it. So I did it. And then, with these jobs, they require clearances, and these clearances require investigations that can take somewhere between 6 months to up to a year and a half. So depending on what kind of clearance you're going for, it may take a while or it may not take that long at all. I was told it was going to be for a secret clearance, but when I got there, I was told it's going to be for top secret. For me, that should have been a red flag, and I should have been like, okay, never mind, I'm good. But I was under the impression and believed that they would actually keep giving me work, even if it's not cleared work, until it was done. Well, lo and behold, 6 months later, I got let go because my investigation was going to take too long. Then in reality, it was never going to finish that quickly. The second that they put me in for top secret, I should have knew. Well, it's going to take like a year and a half. They're not going to wait that long for me to get my clearance. And it ended up happening that way. They didn't wait that long. And the plan was to go there, make more money, build our life there, and eventually buy a house there and, settle down or whatever. Well, once they let me go, obviously that paycheck wasn't there anymore. So it was like scramble mode at that point. The plan that I had to be able to take care of her and make more money so we can have a better life on our own, it wasn't happening. So then at that point, I had to redo everything I was thinking and basically scrap that plan, because now that plan's not happening. And finding a job where we lived at that point in time that paid that much, if it wasn't government, it wasn't going to happen. And clearly at that point, well, even though I was applying, no government companies were taking my application and considering me. So, I scrambled, and then I did whatever I had to do. I scrapped that plan. I was like, okay, well, at this point on, I'm no longer doing government work, because I'm not going to sit there and wait for a clearance that may not ever come to fruition. And at that point in time, I had also started school while I was working at that job, because one of the employees was like, why don't you go back to school? Why don't you finish? And I was like, well, you're right. And plus, I'd be doing that to take care of my wife, so fuck it, let's do it. And so at that point in time, they let me go. I was still going to school. And then at that point in time, I was like, well, I need to find a job regardless of where it's at. So that's when I went retail and went to Walgreens. Yeah, I think I was going to be at Walgreens forever, but at least it was going to give me a steady paycheck. So, I went for it. And then I ended up working at Walgreens for almost 2 years, basically, at that point in time. And working at Walgreens helped a lot, because in the end, was I able to take care of her? Yes, we did work together to basically get whatever we need and do whatever we need to do. But in the end, I was able to get us a new car. I was able to get us a new house. I was able to get us to move closer to the city. Like, all the things that I wanted for us ended up happening. But it didn't happen the way that I thought it would. It happened completely different than what I expected. So, even though that happened, it's the same thing. You have that structure, you have that plan, and then if a challenge happens, you get thrown off, and then basically what I had to do was push off my plans for what I wanted to do for us and focus on the now and take care of the now and stabilize now. And then once I was able to stabilize by working at Walgreens, then I was able to move forward with the plans that I initially had and continue forward. So the plan still happened. It just didn't happen the way I wanted to. And, it was after I had to kind of scrap the plan and focus on something different. So, in the end, don't be afraid to do whatever you have to do to get yourself stable. If your plan falls through, that's fine. Just adjust and adapt to it. And then work your way back to the plan in the end. I'm Jeuse Kastoan. This is Unseen Hours.